Okay, let's catalogue today's progress. Bike's been put in position in front of the projector because today I've been working on the controls. So, because I'm impatient and I couldn't be bothered to wait for the pedals that I've bought off eBay to come, I've just taken the ones out of the other motorcycle simulator. If you saw how that's made, it's pretty straightforward. Just got cables that go into the back of these pedals here, and then the inner of the cables drilled through the plastic of the pedal itself, and then I just put a little chocolate block electric connector on the back of that, and that just allows you to operate the pedals with the throttle here. I'll just pull back and you can see that. As you see, that just pulls the cable and that just operates the accelerator. Then on the other side we have got, I'll do it from this side, I'll put it on the front brake side. I've only got accelerator and front brake for the minute. There's the, I'll just show you that. There's the front brake, look. So I've just got accelerator, a single accelerator and brake for now. I had that mechanism before, needed to repair it slightly and fit it onto this bike, so that was fairly straightforward. The more tricky thing that I've been doing is, of course, trying to work out how to use the lean. Now I've got two steering wheels on the way, just cheap old steering wheels, but I'm not convinced they're going to work very well. So I've made this little mechanism here, which is out of an old joystick. So this is just a Thrustmaster Hot-Ass 4. So I've removed the joystick assembly from the top and all the buttons. They're just cable tied on the stem for a minute. I'll unsolder those and pull those through at some point once I've confirmed that this works correctly. Just a big long screw which goes down into the shaft of the joystick itself. I've made a little wooden clamp which just sits on the bar here at the back of the frame, and then when we lean the bike, you can see it moves. Try and get a good view of that. It moves the joystick left and right as we lean the bike across. That seems to work. So let's see how that goes. Going to test that very shortly. One of the brilliant things about Thrustmaster is that they have great compatibility. Of course, all of their hardware works on the PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and a lot of other manufacturers haven't managed that or done very good compatibility or very good software. Talking to you, Moser, there. But Thrustmaster have really got it sorted. And one of the great things they've got, see the pedals that I've got up here, they use this lovely little RJ12 connector, and the steering wheels all have a connector for it, and you can see in there the joystick has the RJ12 connector as well. So I don't need to use the converter to convert it to USB. They're quite expensive, they're 45-50 quid each. So I plug that straight into the joystick, and it's a single USB then just go into the PC. So that's quite nice. That's compatible also with the PlayStation, so potentially this whole mechanism as it stands now will run on a PlayStation. Don't even need a PC. I'm going to test it with the Thrustmaster software shortly and see if I can get it configured, and then I'm just going to give it a go on GP Bikes, because GP Bikes is very configurable and you can do all sorts of stuff with it. But I am maybe hoping to try to see if I can get this working, through the PlayStation. I've got a lot of controls left really on this Hot-Ass 4. So I've got the whole throttle assembly over here with a load of buttons and micro switches. You've got this lovely little rudder assembly, look, on the back of the throttle. Look at that. That could be for the gears. I think that might be adapted onto the spline for the gears, which would be nice. Also, there's the clutch to do. But if I can get the clutch on one of these other variable controls on here, maybe the back brake as well, then the whole thing could work off of a PlayStation, off a single USB, which would be nice rather than having to do multiple controls. But we'll see how it goes anyway. I'm going to fire the PC up now, connect up the Thrustmaster software and see what sort of range we've got on each of the controls, and see if it's going to work with the game. Alright, let's go. So I've configured it on on GP Bikes. I've put some chocks at the front because the front wheel was falling out a little bit, and it took me a while to get GP Bikes going. You've got to calibrate the controls that you need in a calibration screen, then go back to the main screen and put them into the inputs that you want. I've just got this configured, of course, now with no gears or anything. And of course, I've got it just standing on the floor, so it works. I'm not very good at it. But what we've got here is only a little bit of lean really, making quite a lot of difference, because the joystick probably only goes, I don't know, 20 degrees either side, so it does feel quite good. Yeah, there we go. So it does work, and it feels quite realistic. It's not too bad, but the lean on the bike obviously is, it's you know, leaning from there to there is like, let's drive it along a bit and you can see the amount of lean. So looking at about, you know, 10 or 20 degrees each way, and the bike obviously, the real bike is leaning a lot more on the screen than the actual bike is, because the range of movement on the joystick is quite small. So that's something that I'm going to have to think about. The joystick is really good because it's flat on the floor and it accesses from the floor just like the bike does, which is correct. I've got a steering wheel coming tomorrow, and I'll bastardise that and see what I can do with that as well. But the thing about that is I can get more lean out of it, so we should be able to get more lean on the bike rather than just a little bit of movement with the joystick. It does make it a bit easier just with the joystick, but there's not really quite enough lean on there. But it's very easy to steer that bike when you've got your feet on the floor and you can use your legs to actually move it left to right. It's going to be a lot more difficult once you've got your feet on the pegs and you've got to use your actual balance and weight shifting to move it from one side to the other. The weight of the bike feels good moving it around, and the counter steering with the front wheel locked in there is really good. So I'm pleased with all that. I think maybe we just go with the steering wheel tomorrow when that comes and see how well we can get that working to maybe get a little bit more lean out of it. I need the springs at the back as well and the pegs to be able to get my feet up off of the floor, but it's a good start really, quite pleased with it.